It's Nate Dowd coming at you today with some new exciting tools that you can put into your quiver. What we want to do is roll out the FEX Toolkit. Now, I have a video that I want to show you guys about this service, but it is top notch. What you're able to do is get your underwriting decisions like that. Type in the medications that the clients are using, type in the conditions that the clients have, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you the best available carriers and some rates to go along with that. So what I did is I have Joe hopping on with me just to walk over the process of this FEX Toolkit. Now, since you do follow me here, what I want to do is I want to give you guys a discount. Today, and for a little bit longer, we're going to do a discount of notable 5. That's going to give you $5 off this service, which is $35 a month. So $30 a month, it's going to give you this complete package. It's going to have your traditional final expense and term next month. So guys, I'm really excited about this. I'm going to kick it over to Joe. Joe, go over this with us a little bit more in detail and just walk us through the basic concept. Thanks guys. As always, stay sharp, be elite, and keep learning. Let's head it over to Joe.
Thanks, appreciate it. So I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to get right into it. We're going to take a quick look at our website. This is where you can log in and find us, www.fextoolkit.com. We're going to head over to the login. And first we'll head over to the settings page. So on our settings page here, a few different items I want to address. So everybody gets the embeddable HTML if you want to put the Quoter FX Toolkit on your website. We are rolling out our lead gen. It should be at the end of next week. So if you put that on your site, it'll actually push the leads over to your CRM if anybody goes to your website and puts in their information in the Quoter. So that'll be up soon. We have the FX Toolkit Lite, which is another nice feature that we provide to all of our users. So we'll copy it here. We'll open up a new incognito window. Nothing's logged in. Paste in the link here, and you'll get taken to your own public link for FX Toolkit. So run a quick quote at 5,000. Let's put in 55. Okay, quote. You can see there's no underwriting on this one, but it's a public link that you can share around, bookmark on your phone, just for public or quick use for quoting. So head back over and we'll take a look at the companies that we have turned on. So we have pretty much every major company right now. We're gonna get in Sons of Norway and Royal Arcanum. That should be within probably by the end of the month for both of those. But other than that, you can look through and see that we basically have everything else that you might be using. For the purpose of this interview today, we are going to leave off Golden Solution and Innovative Solutions, just senior choice for American Amicable, since they're all the same underwriting, essentially just different rate packages. And we'll leave off SBLI. That's just basically the New York version of Prosperity. So first, let's take a look at the drug lookup tool. So a lot of our users ask why we ask for the date of birth and the state on the drug lookup tool. The reason is different products are available in different states with different restrictions, and date of birth, certain times we have to narrow down, like Transamerica, if something was diagnosed or occurred before a certain age, it can change the underwriting. So just to ensure we have the most accurate result, we do ask for both of those on the drug lookup tool. Let's enter in some medications here. We'll type in Spiriva, COPD. We'll say it was first filled back in 2017. And it comes up with the list of companies here based on that medication. Now you can see, just something to point out with Assurant, I believe it's 2 or 3 years ago, if it was diagnosed, it'll actually go level. So it's one of the few companies out there that'll do that, as long as there's no change in dose and whatnot. But you see the question marks here, if you mouse over, it'll actually tell you why. So we built this software, me specifically, from an agent's perspective. So it's built to teach you the underwriting, and so it doesn't become a crutch, it's a tool. So it's very important to us to help the people using our software to actually learn as much as you can about what's going on. We'll add on one more medication here just to show you how they stack on top of each other. We'll add on donepezil for Alzheimer's, and you can see that pretty much knocks out most carriers. So as you add on medications, it narrows down the carriers that will be available for the drugs and conditions those drugs are taken for, in some cases, that are put in. Next, we'll head on over to the health cheat sheet. So health cheat sheet, again, we ask for the state. Different products are available in different states. Just with that, we can give you the most accurate result. We do ask for that. We'll type in AFib, a very common condition for the heart. And it shows you the data for all the carriers that you have selected as active in the software. So one thing I will point out is that we try to show all the data that we can for any given carrier. So for Mutual of Omaha, for example, they ask about if any heart condition was diagnosed within the last year. That'll be a decline. So we put that in our cheat sheet. Now, most PDF cheat sheets you see floating around probably just list the 90% of the time if treated within 2 years graded. That's probably what most say, but we try to list all the applicable parameters that we can, just so that you have all the information you need to underwrite that case. We'll just type in schizophrenia here just so you can see another one. All the results come up. And one last one we'll put in is diabetic neuropathy. So you type in this one thing I'll point out, with Transamerica, now if they have any kind of chronic pain, if they're currently unemployed, if not retired, or if they're disabled, it goes graded. So we put that in the same thing as I mentioned before. We try to show you all the different data so that you can underwrite your case in the most accurate way possible. Even if you're not running a full quote, you're just using the health cheat sheet. We'll come back to the CRM and quote compare a little bit later. For now, we'll head on right to the quoter, which is the main part of the software. So for now, we're just going to run a basic quote. We're going to skip over the health and drug information for now. You can see the toggle up here. It's actually the same thing as that light link I showed you before. So if you just want to clean up the interface, if you're just running a light quote with no underwriting, you can do it here. For now, we'll just leave it on full. So let's say we're looking for $10,000 level for Texas male, born 1/160. We'll leave off the height, weight, nicotine use is none, and we'll leave it on bank draft for now. We hit get quote. You can see the quotes come back pretty much instantly. All of our quotes come back in under a second. And if you look through here, you'll see all the different carriers. So a few things I'll point out. You see all the carriers have the compare button here. Now the compare button is essentially our point of sale tool, and we'll take a look at that in 1 second here once we run one more quote. But a few other things. If a carrier has an e-app, you can head over right to the e-app. We do highlight the carriers in our system that have Social Security billing. Of course, your persistency will be anywhere from 10 to 20% higher when you use these carriers. It's important for your business to stay on the books if you're taking the trouble to write it. So we do outline those carriers. As you scroll down, you can see some more of them. And if we hit the expand menu on the carriers, it'll show you the annual rate, if there's an accidental rate available, and you can also push that client right over to the CRM if you choose to do so, which again, we'll take a look at in 1 second here. So let's say in this case, we're going to enter in some of this client's health information, health and drug. So let's enter in spironolactone for high blood pressure, as believable as that might be. And we'll say dosage less than 100. So this is also what we call our fringe system. So I'll outline this in a little bit more detail in a second. But with our fringe questions, it asks you any relevant piece of information based on the carriers you have selected after the fact. And I'll go over that with a better example here in a second. But our underwriting system is linear. So it's going to ask you everything you need right in a row so you can get through it and move on to the next condition or run the quote. So we'll say yes for now. Then we're going to type in carvedilol. And let's say this client is also telling you they have high blood pressure, and that's what they're taking it for. Now, our software is going to suggest, hey, this client might have congestive heart failure based on this combination of medications. So it reminds you, hey, might have CHF. Now we're going to run this quote. You can see it comes back here, and you have your different carriers. Now I'm going to point out a few more things here. So you can see the Y button comes back, the thing that we saw on the drug lookup page. So if anything is graded, modified, otherwise anything other than immediate or level, it'll pop up the Y button just so you know what's going on. You can also see the plan info button here. All these plans have different graded parameters, modified parameters. There's no way to memorize everything. For UHL, it's different in PA. It's tough to memorize. So we list all these here in case your client asks. You can point it out to them. Another thing I'll show here is you can see if a carrier is going to cut your comp, we'll show the indication here. So it can be up to, so there's no way to know sometimes exactly depending on your current contract level, but we do let you know, hey, you might get your comp cut if you write this product if it's anything different than the standard level commission for that product. So let's then take a look. We're gonna throw in one more combination here. Let's say this is probably the most common one, gabapentin for pain, and we'll say metformin. And the client says they're taking it for diabetes. And showing our fringe questions here. So no uncontrolled diabetes in the past 3 years. And it'll show in the diabetic neuropathy indication. So we're working on expanding this list of indications all the time. But it helps to remind you, hey, if you're putting in this combination of medications, the carriers might see it this way. Now for diabetic neuropathy with the gabapentin metformin, American Amicable, Assurance, some carriers might not see it that way, so we are working that into the software, but these indications add a second level of underwriting to help remind you in certain cases when you might not remember everything. And this is on top of the basic indications that carriers provide, such as rural neighbors, their knockout list, and Foresters has their own indication list as well. So let's say in this case, let's remove some of these conditions here, and we'll rerun the quote. Let's say they're taking spironolactone, and let's say we're selling this client, and we're looking at GCU, but oh, there's a red dot there. What does that red dot mean? So when you mouse over it, spironolactone may trigger referral to an underwriter. This is actually on GCU's list, where it'll likely refer to an underwriter. Oxford's on their old red alert list, and I believe Sentinel as well. It will likely be rated proceed with caution. So we try to give you all the information we can so that you can make the best decision on where to place that case. But let's say in this case, we're going to go with GCU anyway. We're pretty confident on this one. So we hit the compare button. You can see it pushes over everything to the right side, so the client's date of birth, their state, their sex, and nicotine use, company, and coverage type. Let's say we just want to quote them the standard. We'll do 10, we'll do 15, and 20,000. Okay, quote. And we are presented with our 3 tiles here. Now, if any of you watched our old Dave Duford video, he did point out that Miss Mary might freak out if you see the annual premium written on the tile, so we have removed that. Makes it a little bit cleaner and easier for the client to see. And you can still head over right to the app here. So we designed this so you can turn your iPad around, show the client, or if you're in a telesales environment, very quickly without having to fumble for 20, 30 seconds, just present your quotes here. And if you want to change the carrier while you're in here, it's not too big of a deal. You can do so. And you can also mix and match quotes. So if I want to see what does $60 get me, you can plug that in there, and it works that way. So that's our quote compare point of sale tool. Now we are going to, let's say we made that sale. Let's say we sold the client, it approved luckily, and we want to store this person in our CRM. Let's say we sold them GCU. So we push to CRM. We'll name this client Mary Smith. I'm not feeling too creative today. And we'll say 267, 565. It doesn't really matter. And 123 Main Street. And we'll say client was nice. You can put whatever note you want to put on there. We hit save. Head on over to our CRM. And I actually was using that same example the other day. You can see here, but there's Mary Smith. There's the cell we just pushed with GCU. And one thing I'll point out to you, if we head on over to the detailed view here, we go to her medical, you can see it stores, in this case we just had a medication in there, but any medications, any health conditions that you run the quote with are actually stored in your CRM securely. So if you want to go back to your client in 6 months to a year, it's always a good idea to reach out, touch your clients. Some people do 30 days, 60 days. You have that in there. If they want to add coverage, all of that is in there because you're losing money if you're not reaching out to your clients. If a client's a buyer with you, they're a buyer of insurance in general in most cases, so we build in that ability there. You can also see past appointments in the CRM. Look at the basic overview here. We're going to disposition this client as a sale, and we'll hit done. And you can see it pops in as a sale. So you can filter out if you have your callbacks. And like I mentioned on the previous video, we're still working on getting different colors in here, but you can filter out with your callbacks, your interesteds, follow-up laters, so you can build your CRM to be the way that you want. Additionally, if we want to set a reminder, like we just sold Mary Smith, so I'm going to say, call Mary Smith. And we'll say, let's reach out to her in 30 days. So we'll pop it over to today is January the 8th. So we're going to do January 8th, and we'll say we want to reach out to her, give her a call at 3 p.m., and give me a reminder half hour before, just so I know. And we'll hit save. So now I have that reminder in there. Hey, I'm going to reach out to my client. Did you get your policy? Hey, I have any questions? You happy with everything we went over? And you can do that for any parameter. You can do that for anything. If it could be a reminder for just a callback you have to make later in the day. But we do have that feature in there so that you can keep track of everything you have going on. Now, additionally, we have a calendar here. So with a calendar, you can schedule an appointment. You can put in, of course, just your day-to-day schedule. And this is an easy way for you to track, what you have going on. And our reminder system does work off of email, so it'll remind you with anything you have coming up. And we do have the different colors in here, so it makes it a little bit easier on the eyes to look at. The next big feature we are adding to our CRM is the email feature. So we're going to be able to email and reach out to your clients directly through the CRM. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But beyond that, I'm going to head back over to the quoter, and we're just going to look at a few other things. I did outline previously our fringe question system. So we're going to look at past cancer. So for certain carriers, they ask about the type of cancers, for example, GCU, Security National, etc. Now, if I removed those carriers from the software, this question wouldn't show because the rest of the carriers I have in the software, they don't care what type of cancer you had. So it only asks you questions that's relevant to the underwriting case that you're doing and with the carriers you have selected. So for now, we'll just hit other. Let's say the last treatment was a while ago, back in 2015, and they were diagnosed back in 2014, just about a year of treatment. Now here's a fringe question. So have they ever had recurrent cancer of the same type? We'll say no. More than once? And have they ever had metastatic cancer? So all these questions get asked, and that one is for KSKJ. All the questions get asked in an order, so you can ask the client all relevant questions, so there's no surprises when you actually get to the ultimate underwriting, the application, whether it's a phone interview or an e-app. And one other thing I'm going to show you guys. You can actually see what we have going on, what we're working on. So you can look at any changes that we made. This is just from this past Tuesday. Anything we have in progress on deck, journal to do. So if you have any suggestions, any feedback for us, please do let us know. And real quick, I will go over our pricing. So we try to price our product pretty competitively so that everyone can afford it. So you can see our agent plan here is just $29.99 a month. We have our business plan here, and we have our agency plan for those of you with agencies here as well. And we do give a discount for annual. So we try to keep our product pretty competitive.
Guys, I think you'll agree that this is an incredible tool that we can take advantage of. Maybe you're that Medicare salesperson that wants to cross over and do some final expense. Or maybe you're a final expense agent that just, has all these cares and doesn't really know what the best fit is for our clients. This is just a simple tool that you can use today and have a lot of success moving forward. I'm going to put that link in the description below, but here it is on the screen for you. Again, you get that discount of notable 5 since you're following me. Guys, I'm looking forward to helping you grow. I got some other ideas coming out for some videos for you. Stay tuned. As always, stay sharp, be elite, and keep learning. Thanks a lot.